Yes, I do recommend buying the Victory motorcycle in 2021, even with the whole Polaris shutting down Victory motorcycles in 2017. But this Victory motorcycle, this Victory Magnum, has 50,000 plus miles on it, and it's a 2017, and everything on this bike rides like it's brand new, right? So Polaris promised support for 10 years on parts, and some of the parts are starting to wear out, like the kickstand needs to be changed, and this bike actually was involved in an accident. So some of the painted parts are cracked, and I was curious on whether or not you can actually still find parts. And when I was shocked that you can still find all of the painted parts for this bike, even though the company is still shut down, it changed the whole conversation on whether or not buying one of these was a bad idea, because you can still get parts, but you do only have 5 to 6 years before Polaris stops that support. So yeah, it's a good conversation. But with the opportunity to fix broken parts, there's still a risk owning a Victory. The motorcycles themselves are fantastic and known for their reliability, but what is it like owning a motorcycle that you'd possibly have trouble finding parts for, or one that's no longer being produced? My brother, James, bought this Victory Magnum in 2018, not too long after Victory was shut down. He did his research and went into this knowing that at least parts would be supported for 10 years. And we've been on multiple trips together, and he has really enjoyed owning this motorcycle. And so far, it's only been minor issues. This Magnum has seen better days. There's scratches and cracks on different components from an unfortunate run-in with a careless hit-and-run cager, along with normal wear and tear. But these are battle scars that would make many people cringe at the sight of it being their own possession. But considering it has over 50,000 miles and it has been overly reliable, he doesn't care too much. But of course, he'd love for it to look immaculate, but that wouldn't tell the full story on the journey this bike has been on since it left the manufacturing floor. We were looking at the side stand to possibly replace it, as it allows the bike to lean over further than intended. And this is where the whole idea of part availability came into question. I originally thought that it would be hard to find parts at this stage. 4 years after Victory ceased operation, maybe Polaris would only stock components and generally let inventory dwindle down until certain parts become unavailable. But who knows? But we were able to find this kickstand on the Victory motorcycle website, so it will get replaced. I also found many of these cracked fairing pieces in the original habanero color on the Victory motorcycle website, and I was honestly shocked to find them, and their prices were also shocking. But hey, the parts are there for grabs. This inner fairing, for instance, the saddlebag, and also this saddlebag lid cover. And this, of course, is one example of finding parts for a Victory motorcycle, one of the last year models that they produce. And I'm sure the further you go back in the model years, brand new parts, especially the painted parts, will be harder to find. But with a 6-speed transmission guaranteed up to 100,000 miles by Victory and a 1700cc air-cooled heart, the Magnum is one that still turns heads today. It stands on its own, and it just has such a distinct look when you see one going down the road. You cannot mistake a Magnum for anything else. I'm not always a big fan of loud colored bikes, especially for ones that I own, but this habanero color scheme is one that I would 100% make an excuse for. We call it the orange peel. This video is from 2018, and it's the day we brought the Magnum home. We drove to New Samara Beach in Florida to get one of few brand new Magnums left in the country. I rode it in the rain after we took the Magnum off the truck, and it was also my idea to get the Magnum stuck in the mud to put it on the porch. I didn't want to see his brand new bike just sitting in the rain, right? But he was perfectly fine with it. But either way, no motorcycles were harmed, I promise. But it got pretty dirty. But since then, he's added exhaust, engine guards, and a different handlebar setup. The mid baffles from Drew Miller gives the exhaust a nice throaty but not overly loud punch, right? It's definitely one of my favorite features. But outside of that, the Magnum essentially is stock. Victory really set their motorcycles up where a lot of customization wasn't needed from the factory. It came with a 21-inch front wheel, LED lighting all around, a thumping stereo system with Bluetooth connectivity, cruise control, and came with such good performance even from a stock motor. And also the saddlebags have bigger capacity than anything any motorcycle offers, and I think also with Harley Davidson. But the lines and cuts of the fairing pieces scream just new and futuristic vibes. I just love the lines that this bike has. All right, so this is James. He's the owner of this bike, and I wanted to ask him one question. what is your favorite feature about this bike?
Favorite feature?
And I know you probably have several, but what made you want to put 50,000 miles on this bike in 4 years?
I would say the stands when you're sitting on it. It's like you're sitting on the couch.
Sit on it. Well, show us.
You're sitting on the couch. When you sit on it, you sit in the bike, not on the bike. So you're pretty much in it. If you throw your leg up on it, you relax on it. You know, everything is right there in front of you. You don't have to look down. Obviously, I didn't put a shield on it because the shield that comes with it does pretty well. It just depends on the helmet you have. I mean, I know that's more than one thing, but it's just the comfort on it when you ride on it. And get me wrong, that motor is the best thing about it. It's just the feedback from the transmission.
That's what I was saying. Man, the freaking gearbox is so good.
Yeah, that's the feedback that I get, like when you're going from first to second or second to third, but mostly from first to second and third. It's a pretty good feedback. And man, 50K miles on it, and you still get that feedback. I mean, it's just a well-built bike for me, to be honest with you. And to think that before I bought this bike, somebody made us an offer for an XDR in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That I was considering at exactly the same price. And right now I don't regret it because obviously I still have it. Can't get myself to give it away. Most of the bikes when you see, it's almost like you're sitting on it, on the bike, and your knees are cramped up where your knees almost like that on the bike, as opposed to, even if I'm not using the highway bar.
Yeah.
You have a lot of space. Every bike, you have a lot of space. You stretched out. You sit in the bike. Obviously, I didn't put a backrest on it, but I'm taking long trips. I go all the way to North Carolina and El Paso on this biking bike.
I was saying how the freaking stock seat still feels like really good.
Yeah, it's just the way, it's just the comfort level of the stock seat. And it still hasn't worn too, considering how much miles I put on it, and it still looks good too.
Let me ask you this: were you worried about parts when you bought the bike?
I mean, at first when I bought the bike, I did my homework, and people were just saying how well built the bike is. I mean, I haven't changed a single thing. The only thing that I changed on it was the what's it called, the breaker.
Oh, the fuse breaker? Yeah, I remember that because
I changed it.
It was cutting off.
Yeah, it was cutting off. Other than that, that's just about it. Nothing has been changed on the bike. I've done the oil. The only thing that I would like to do on it is just change the air filter. But other than that, and the plugs, I changed the plugs on and plug wire. Other than that, I haven't changed anything on the bike. The bike still runs well.
Well, next time we got to get your freaking kickstand fixed, or if you fix it before you get back.
Yeah.
Because it makes the bike just fall over way further than it needs to.
I don't know if you guys noticed it, but yeah, it leans over. When the bike leans, this is where it should be, like that.
Yeah.
But the kickstand's kind of bent, so it kind of leans over. And then if it's on an angle, it kind of gives you the scare.
I'm going to take the Magnum out for a quick ride. But that starter scream is absolutely hilarious. It caught me off guard, but I didn't show it on camera, but I think it's about time for it to get changed. But my height is 5 feet 10 inches with a 28-inch inseam, and being comfortable on the Magnum is an understatement, even with the higher handlebar setup. And the longer wheelbase helps with stretching out, leading to more comfort long term. This is easily one of the most comfortable bikes I've been on. The power band on the Vic, even in its stock form, is linear, and the Vic will hold a line when throttling down. But that Freedom 106 engine has a very distinct feel to it, and it's completely set apart from both Thunderstroke and Power Plus. This really is one of my most favorite motors. But Victory did well dampening the motor vibrations, making them noticeable, but not intrusive in the floorboards and the handlebar grips. And even in the higher RPMs, there's not much vibration going on. But the seat is still stock, and really, it isn't that bad. But the gearbox is also still smooth with 50,000 miles on it, and it gives satisfying shifts when blasting through the gears. I really have started to appreciate gearboxes more lately. I gave the Rocket 3's gearbox praise for shifting smooth like butter, and I have to say that the Magnum is in the exact same category. It is really smooth for a clunky V-twin. It's really smooth. Even though I locked the rear up slightly, the brakes, they do have ABS and they work well.
actually locked the rig up there.
The Vics, man, they are super special. And if you ever have the chance to experience one, you definitely should. But as many people have said, it's a shame that Victory was canceled by Polaris to shift its resources into Indian Motorcycle. However, it's better to have one of them than to not have either. And I'd say that makes Victory motorcycles even more special. So should you buy a Victory today, even after everything that has happened? Well, two of my people just bought new Victories. More on that at another time. A lot of people simply won't buy an Indian motorcycle because of how Polaris handled Victory motorcycle. I personally don't fault a company for admitting defeat, especially considering they're still offering support for those cult-like riders out there that still have an itch to ride a Vic. I do understand the resentment though, but if you're okay with buying a motorcycle possibly for a premium over its true value and with limited access to replacement parts possibly in the next 6 years, sure, buy a Vic. But Victories, man, they're reliable. Also, there are riders out there that have negative experiences. But comment down below if you own a Victory or you've ridden one and let people know your experience. Let's get the conversation going. The negatives have turned away riders from owning one of these motorcycles to not deal with uncertainty. But you can be assured that you can still buy parts and get them serviced. But there are riders out there who have Victories and haven't been able to find parts. Because of course, the older the model, the harder it is to find parts. But as always, you'll have to do your own research when purchasing one of these motorcycles in 2021 going forward. I'm not sure how well this video will age, but let me know down in the comments what you think about all this. This is a motorcycle and a company that were forward thinking, and I think Victories will continue to age well because of that. And even today, that Victory DNA is still showing itself in future Indian models. How about that? But as always, thanks for watching, and if you're subscribed, I'll catch you in the next one.